with a possible sign of Sasha Banks' return to WWE and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for August 5th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Giving a pep talk to participants at the recent WWE tryouts, Paul Heyman had this to say about the contrast between the present and the past in regards to recruits. There is a difference right now in that today's recruits are those who see this as an option, not an obsession. These aren't people living and dying and breathing and hoping and praying that all of their dreams since they were 5 years old can come true, or come crashing down around them by the decision that's made. This guy might say, oh, if this doesn't work out, I'll go play Canadian football, or I'll go play basketball in Europe. My thing is, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions you better not have the answer to, because if you do, you're in the wrong class, because this is for people that don't have the prior knowledge. According to ESPN, 14 of the 50 collegiate athletes at those tryouts were signed to WWE. Speaking of Paul Heyman, former WWE star Shelley Martinez revealed that while working with him in OVW, she wanted to sleep with him, telling Wrestling Shoot interviews, "Most people, first of all, they see my look and automatically think that I just want to be on TV. I'm not sure what Cornette's opinion of me was because I didn't really have much interaction with him, but with Heyman, I knew he was a big fan of my looks. There was a time when I went through like a huge obsession with Heyman. I would have slept with him at one point. That's how obsessed I was." On the MacMania podcast, Paul Heyman discussed Vince McMahon's retirement from WWE. "I think there is a locker room and an office filled with fabulously wealthy people thanks to the 22-hour workday of Vince McMahon for the past 40 years. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about Vince McMahon. What a hypocrite I would be to say anything less than extraordinarily complimentary things about that man. His work ethic, his willingness to put in 22 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 40 years is why we are all fabulously wealthy. He'll never get the credit or understanding that he truly deserves and he earned." Fully supportive of the new regime. They understand the task at hand and the people that are involved right now at steering this ship. We're prepared to steer the ship by Vince McMahon. When I took the job as executive director of Raw in June 2019, I asked Vince, what is the greatest service that I can give this company in this role? I thought it would be something like oversee the best writing, give me the best storylines, work your ass off, put the task at hand first. His answer was, get your successor ready in case you drop dead. The show goes on with or without you. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, the show goes on with or without me. He meant it. I can tell you multiple stories that I won't, because they happened in confidence, that back up that statement that I witnessed him say to other people at times when, well, this happened. What do we do to Vince? The answer is always, the show goes on. I don't care if it's me. The show goes on. He meant it. Everyone right now who is steering this ship was prepared to steer the ship from Vince himself, which makes me very comfortable in their vision, and their hopes, dreams, desires, and their new vision, which should not be Vince's vision. It should be their vision, because Vince's vision wasn't his father's vision. It was his vision. He created a universe in an image that he believed in. Those who are now running the show will create the progression of that universe into the next generation of that universe based on the things they agreed with and the things they disagreed with. Hopefully, the things they disagreed with, they will make better. And the things they understood was an absolute taught by Vince, they will carry on that tradition. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Anybody that sits there with that attitude, ding dong, the witch is dead, we've moved on, is a fool. We are moving forward in waters that were charted by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Part of the charter of those waters is what happens after Vincent Kennedy McMahon, whether it was his vision or his understanding that the implementation of new visions would take place and the manner in which he wanted them implemented in a style he could be proud of. During the StarCast media scrum, ROH champion Claudio Castagnoli spoke about a potential match against former IWGP champion Okada. I would just pick Okada, mainly because I've known Okada for over 10 years, actually. When he wrestled at Chikara, he stayed at me and Chris Hero had a house that a lot of guys stayed, including Okada, and then I saw him again when he was training in Mexico. So I think I have a picture of me and him when I still had hair and when he was not the Rainmaker yet. So I think there's definitely a lot of history there. So yeah, definitely. He would be one of many guys that we want to face. In the meantime, Claudio will defend his ROH title against Takeshita at the Battle of the Belts tomorrow. For that same media scrum, Paige spoke about the retirement of AJ Lee from pro wrestling in 2015 right after WrestleMania 31, noting that we didn't really know it was going to be her last match. Afterwards, she just told me, I don't know if I'm going to continue after this. So she didn't let us know that, which I think is really sweet, because I love AJ, and we were such good friends. We still are good friends. I just mean that we were traveling together, we would always try to keep kayfabe. So she would be in the front seat of the car while I was driving through the arena where the fans are, and she would just be ducking underneath my jacket. She was my fairy godmother. She got me a pair of Doc Martens when I was going to wrestle in the UK. I would have been so bummed out. We actually had a SummerSlam match where I won the Divas Championship, and she couldn't take any bumps, so if you watched the whole match, we spent the whole match not taking one bump. There was one spot where I super kicked her, and it was like, oh and she took a Matrix looking fall, and I apologized and she said it's okay. Despite suffering a spinal stroke, pro wrestling legend Lex Luger is in great spirits over his health, telling Sports Illustrated, "It's mind-boggling. I'm in phenomenal health. Other than my mobility issues from my spinal cord issue, I'm very healthy. And that's a miracle of God after what I put my body through. I usually use a wheelchair or a walker, but I can walk some. I have great mobility, I thrive. But you know how your power will go out for a moment during a storm? That can happen to me, and I'm on the floor before I know it. So I take a lot of precautions. I live totally independently, which wasn't supposed to happen. I don't look the same because I don't hit the weights like I used to, but I'm healthy." When asked about a possible Hall of Fame induction from WWE, Luger said, "I might pop out of the chair for that. I would take that chance. If that moment comes, that honor would be the cherry on top of my career." Former WCW Tag Team Champion and WWE Hall of Famer Stevie Ray recently took to Twitter to post a video of himself working out, as it says, "I think I have one last match in me." His last match was August 12, 2017 for his brother Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. On his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T revealed that he turned down a last match opportunity, saying, "I was approached actually to have a final match next year at StarCast, Harlem Heat's final match, here in Texas. I said hell no, we ain't doing none of that. I just had a match a couple weeks ago. My knee was killing me. I can only imagine what it's going to feel like next year. Y'all can forget about seeing me do one last match. The thing is, I'm still working. I'm still having matches. You're just never going to see me have a last match. You're never going to see me doing a lot in the ring. I'm never going to build up a match like I'm doing a whole lot. One tag in, one tag out. That's it, I'm done. Where's my check?" I learned from one of my teachers back in the day, Hacksaw Butch Reed. I got to tag with him down in the Global Wrestling Federation, and he said, "Man, I'm coming in one time, I'm coming out and asking for my check. That's the way you do it." Booker T also noted on his show how long he'll be with WWE. "I got about 6 years left on my contract. 7 maybe. I ain't going nowhere, man. I'm never going to say never or anything like that. But I actually love where I'm at with WWE." Talking to Wrestling Inc. about being on Raw, former NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa, who is set to face Lashley for the US title, touched on potential main roster opponents. "I want to do every pay-per-view. I want to win every title. There's a plethora of guys I want to have programs with, not just matches, like programs. AJ Styles and Finn Balor and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Man, I've been on the road with Seth, and it's just like, geez, he's good. He gets it. He's good. Randy Orton when he's all healthy and stuff and gets back." In an announcement last night on Twitter, Glenn Jacobs, known in WWE as Kane, revealed that he was re-elected, writing, "Thank you, Knox County, for electing me to serve a second term as your mayor. I am so grateful for the support you have shown me and my family throughout my campaign for re-election, and will continue to do all I can to serve you to the best of my ability." With rumors of Sasha Banks returning to WWE following her walkout on Raw from months back with Naomi, a new sign of her comeback has come out. Earlier in the week, Banks was advertised as a participant in a celebrity flag football game under her real name. In an update, her name has now been removed, as she's no longer listed on either team. While the Rams website still lists Banks as a team member, Banks and Naomi are also still seemingly set for their upcoming appearance at C2E2. Sasha Banks would confirm her C2E2 appearance, writing on Twitter, "I'm so excited to see you guys this weekend. I love you." Despite a return being rumored for Banks and Naomi ever since the retirement of Vince McMahon, it seems Naomi's WWE contract may have already run out, with The Observer reporting that while they may not have agreed to new deals, and in the case of Naomi, her contract in theory expired, they could have frozen her so she couldn't go anywhere else. The belief is that Naomi and Banks are returning. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.